Welcome to our class on Chassidus. We're going to be learning a beautiful Chassidic discourse from the Rebbe. The name of the Chassidic discourse is called K'mei Tzeitzcha. The Rebbe said this Chassidic discourse on Achron Shal Pesach, the last day of Pesach in the year t'shin Lamed Ches, 47 years ago. And the Rebbe went on to certify and edit this Chassidic discourse on the 28th day of the month of Sivan in the year t'shin Nun Aleph, 34 years ago. So again, the Chassidic discourse is based on the verse in the prophets where it says, K'mei Tzeitzcha Me'eretz Mitzrayim, like the days of going out of Egypt, Aránu, I will show you Neflאות in the future. Okay, so this is one verse. There's going to be another verse so as we go forward. So the first verse we're dealing with is the verse that says in the prophets, K'mei Tzeitzcha Me'eretz Mitzrayim, like the days of going out of Egypt, Aránu, I will show you wonders in the future. Okay, that's the first verse. And that's the verse that the Chassidic discourse is built on. So the Rebbe brings from the previous Rebbe, he says in the Chassidic discourse based on this verse, that he said it 30 years before the Rebbe said this Chassidic discourse. So he brings a point that the Zohar brings out. The Zohar says, K'mei Tzeitzcha, like the days, plural, of going out of Egypt. But the Zohar asks, 1 second, they left Egypt in one day. And also when you mention going out of Egypt, it says, and I'll bring another verse, in order, Laman Tiskar, to remember, as Yom Tzeitzcha, the day you went out of Egypt. It says plural, singular. So why does it say over here, K'mei, plural? And he explains that the fact is, all the days, K'mei, all the days from leaving, and when we left Egypt, yes, in one day, but all the days leaving Egypt until the future redemption is all part of K'mei. It's all part of going out of Egypt, and that's why it says K'mei Lashon Rab. And that's what the Zohar says. Then he continues on the Chassidic discourse to explain, to understand this idea. So he says, he brings in the Mishnah, the Mishnah says, based on a different verse. So the verse says as follows, Laman Tiskar, in order that we should remember, Es Yom Tzeitzcha Me'eretz Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt, Kol Yemei Chayacha. So we have to remember going out of Egypt all the days of our life. So he says, Mei Chayacha means, when you have to remember, this in this world, all the days of this world. Kol Yemei Chayacha, all the days of your life, is referring to even when Mashiach comes, you have to remember that. So again, so you see from this verse, it's also connected to Mashiach coming and remembering the idea of going out of Egypt. So this is one thing we have to understand. The fact is, the ultimate redemption in the future when Mashiach comes is going to be much greater than when we left Egypt. Both in terms of the redemption itself, because the future redemption is going to be a complete redemption. We're not going to be going back into exile anymore. However, when we left Egypt, look, we're still in exile. That's in terms of redemption. And B, in terms of the revelations, because the fact is the revelations of what's going to happen when Mashiach comes is going to be much greater than when we left Egypt. So if that's the case, the question is, why are we mentioning in the future about going out of Egypt? It's a weaker redemption, and it wasn't everlasting. So he explains that when it comes to the redemption of going out of Egypt, something new was revolutionized, and that is opening up the gates of all the redemptions. So it was the first, and that would create the possibility of all future redemptions. Even the future redemption, Mashiach is going to come, is all based on us going out of Egypt. And therefore, all the days from leaving Egypt until the future redemption, it's Yemei Tzeitzcha. It's all leaving Egypt, plural. Okay, so it says, 1 second. Seemingly, the connection between these two ideas in the Chassidic discourse, in other words, the days of leaving Egypt, that's one idea. What's one issue? There's the days of leaving Egypt, and the fact that we're going to mention going out of Egypt when Mashiach comes. What's the connection? Because the days is plural, because when we left Egypt, it started the process of all the redemptions, and therefore, because it started the process, that's going to give us and that's going to apply for Mashiach comes. So what the Rebbe is saying is like this: there's one answer, seemingly, that answers both questions. What's the answer? The question was, why does it say plural? And why are we mentioning when Mashiach comes in the future about Egypt? So he's saying because it's all, that opened up the whole channel of redemptions, and that's why we're still leaving Egypt, and that's why we're going to mention in the future, because they're connected. But Rebbe says, 1 second, we need an explanation why. Because technically, both things are coming from the same reason, because it's continuous. But this that he says that in the Chassidic discourse, to understand why it's called plural, we have to introduce why we're going to mention it when Mashiach comes. So obviously, it seems like it's two different components. One is we're always going out of Egypt because we have to get to the ultimate goal, and then we're going to understand on a different level why what we're mentioning when Mashiach comes about going out of Egypt. Okay. The Rebbe says the point in the Chassidic discourse, that this that we're going to mention, going out of Egypt in the future when Mashiach comes, also applies in the verse, k'imei tzeitzcha. Why? Because since the revelations that's going to take place when Mashiach comes is going to be much higher than the revelations that were in Egypt. So why does it say k'imei tzeitzcha, like the days going out of Egypt, I'll show you in the future. That knows as if the elevation of the future redemption is because we're going to show you wonders just like Egypt. What's the connection between the two? And to add that the point in the verse k'imei tzeitzcha is even like a bigger emphasis, more than the fact that we're going to mention going out of Egypt in the future. Why is that? Because mentioning going out of Egypt in the future when Mashiach comes, it's only like it's a side footnote. But the point he's bringing out in the Chassidic discourse, no, because of the great revelation when Mashiach comes, compared to going out of Egypt, he shouldn't even mention going out of Egypt. However, when it comes to the verse k'imei tzeitzcha Mitzrayim, like comparing the two, so what comes out from there? No, that the wonders of going out of Egypt and are huge, and the person is saying no, guess what? As huge as it was, going in the future is going to be greater. So it looks like as if there's two different messages. One is we're saying is the main thing is the future, and this is we're just going to mention a side note that we went out of Egypt. The second, so no, they're practically related. Okay, so. Let's go deeper into it. Even though the Rebbe says 1 second, it's explained many places that the explanation of k'imei tzeitzcha Mitzrayim, like the days of going out of Egypt, I'm going to show you wonders. That the wonders of the future when Mashiach comes are going to be such wonders, even compared to the wonders when we went out of Egypt. And like it says clearly, Aránu neflאות. What does that mean, Aránu? Aránu, I'm going to show you what I didn't show to the patriarchs. Why? Because the miracles and the wonders that I'm going to do with the children, obviously when Mashiach comes, is going to be much greater than yet for the patriarchs. And like it says clearly, Hashem's going to do tremendous wonders because Hashem is kind. But nevertheless, this in the verse says that the wonders of the future is going to be like going out of Egypt. So obviously these wonders is going to have both qualities. It's going to have the quality of going out of Egypt, and it's going to have something off the charts. In other words, that the wonders are going to be so great, and they're going to be, on one hand, they're going to be compared to the ones going out of Egypt. That's on one hand. They're going to be great, but they're going to be connected. On the other hand, no, that the wonders are going to be like the going out of Egypt. But the main point is that it's going to be much greater, and it's going to be connected to going out of Egypt. So we have to understand: is it connected? Is it different? Etc. Okay. Rebbe explains and he says as follows: that when it comes to miracles, in general, there's two types of miracles. You have a miracle above nature, just like the miracles when we left Egypt. For example, when God turned water into blood, that's above nature. Or splitting the sea, that's above nature. So that's one type of miracle. Miracles above nature. Then you have a miracle which is enclosed within nature. That's in general. In the miracles that are enclosed within nature, there's three levels in general. One level is that the garments of nature is in a way that it's noticeable, that it's only a garment for the miracle that's in there. For example, the miracle of Hanukkah and Purim. And the same thing also, all the other miracles that we make the blessing for miracles. Like if a wolf fell and you were saved, so even though you can say technically it was a miracle, but you realize it was a miracle. That's one level of a miracle. A lower level of a miracle. So you realize it's a miracle, but you can somehow justify it in nature. A lower level of miracle is that the garments of nature cover up on the miracle. But you realize something out of the ordinary happened. For example, the four people that have to praise Hashem. Those that came back from a journey, those that were kind of in prison, those that were healed, etc., etc. And on these miracles, you don't make a blessing for a miracle, but you bring a Thanksgiving sacrifice, and you make by the Torah you make a blessing on goyimel, etc. That's a lower level of miracle. Then you even have a lower level of miracle, which what is? That's when the garments of nature totally cover up on the miracle, that you don't even realize it's something unique. And like it says, miracles levadoi. And what does that mean? Chazal tell us, even the person that experiences it doesn't realize it's a miracle. Okay, so before we go forward, what Rabbi is saying is there's two types of miracles, above nature, within nature. Within nature, you have three levels. One is where it's a miracle, but it's enclosed within nature, like Hanukkah, Purim, etc. One is it doesn't look like it's a miracle, but it's something unique happened, and that's when you make the blessing by the Torah. And then there's miracles you don't even realize. You don't even realize it's a miracle. Okay. First, we have to understand what it says in Chazal, based on the verse where it says, "Aránu and neflאות, I'm going to show you wonders." And so the pasuk says, "I'm going to show you wonders." To the idea of la'oisei neflאות kedoros levadoi, that Hashem does miracles and wonders for Himself. Now, in this Chazal itself, it says that the wonders that's going to be like when Mashiach comes, they're going to be much greater than the miracles of going out of Egypt. But nevertheless, what verse does he bring? He brings the verse, La'oisei neflאות kedoros levadoi. Now, what does levadoi mean? What did we just learn levadoi means? It's the lowest level of within nature itself. That there are a miracle which is totally concealed, that even the person experiencing the miracle doesn't realize the miracle. So on one hand, we're saying when Mashiach comes, we're going to have the greatest miracles. But on the other hand, we're saying it's only Hashem is the one that realizes these are the miracles. So the Rebbe, the Tzemach, the third Chabad Rebbe, he explains that the source of miracles, which are enclosed within nature, which means you don't even realize that's a miracle, comes from a higher place from the miracles above nature. So miracles above nature is huge, but the miracles that's enclosed within nature, the fact that we're alive, we're living, everything is good, which is all a miracle, we don't even realize it's a miracle, that comes from a higher source. And the more that a miracle gets enclosed within nature, what does that show? That the source is from a higher place. And that's why it says, La'oisei neflאות kedoros levadoi, which means the source of the miracles, which are within nature, is in a way that you don't even realize it's a miracle. And that comes from levadoi, from Hashem Himself. And that's why Chazal say, in reference to the miracles, that's going to be like when Mashiach comes, La'oisei neflאות kedoros levadoi, that the miracles that's going to be when Mashiach comes is going to come from that powerful place. Okay. So what does the Tzemach explain? That the highest and deepest miracles are the ones enclosed within nature, and that comes from levadoi. And when Mashiach comes, the miracles that are going to happen then is going to come from the same place. And to add, that based on this you're going to explain why the verse says, Aránu, I will show you wonders. Why? Because the main revolutionary idea is not only that there's going to be miracles, but the miracle is going to be that Hashem is going to show us the miracles, because normally we don't see it. Because we have these miracles now. They're saying the miracles of Mashiach coming, we have it now. And we have plenty of miracles today that come from levadoi. What's the revolutionary idea when Mashiach comes? You're going to see it, that's coming from Hashem. Because now the miracles that come from Hashem Himself, the only one that knows about the miracle is Hashem. We don't know. Miracles are happening right, left, and center, and we just don't see it. We don't recognize it. We just don't see it. When Mashiach comes, we're going to see. We're going to see every single time we breathe, every single time we move our hands, every time we do anything. We're going to see, wow, that was a miracle. Now, these two type of miracles, which we said, miracles above nature and miracle in nature, each one has a quality over the other one. Now, since when Mashiach comes, everything's going to be complete. So you have to say, when it says Aránu, Mashiach comes, I'm going to show you wonders, it's not only in reference to the miracles within nature, that when Mashiach comes we're going to see the miracles, but even to the miracles that it's above nature. And like understood what it says, the miracles of the future is going to be like of going out of Egypt, that the miracles of going out of Egypt, which are above nature. So in other words, when Mashiach comes, two components. A, in the miracles within nature, we're going to see it. And B, there's also going to be something revolutionary about the miracles above nature. As we can see, that going out of Egypt, the miracles of the future Mashiach comes is connected to going out of Egypt, and that was the miracles above nature. And to add, that miracles, in Hebrew it's called a nes, is called nifla'os, a wonder. What does that mean? Because what does a wonder mean? It's a wonder. It's not a natural thing. So what do we see? This one says, Aránu, I will show you nifla'os, something which is not natural. And like the Medrash says, that the wonders that's going to be like when Mashiach comes in the future, they're going to be greater than the wonders of going out of Egypt. Up to the point, they're going to be even greater wonders. It's going to be more of a wonder going out of Egypt. What does that mean? That the wonder of which is above nature, in the miracles, which is going to be when Mashiach comes, is going to be even greater than the wonder of the miracle going when we went out of Egypt. Just 1 second. It says Aránu nifla'os. I'm going to show you the wonders. In other words, what is the simple meaning? I'm going to show you the wonders referring to the wonders of above nature. And especially the miracles above nature, which is going to be like when Mashiach comes, is going to be higher than going out of Egypt. So if that's the case, what is the whole revolutionary idea? I'm going to show you the wonders. Wonders, you see, it's wonders. And as what we learned till now, that the miracles when Mashiach comes is going to be coming from the place of Levade, which is the highest source where it comes from in nature. And then you're also going to have the miracles above nature, but the fact is if it's going to be above nature, we're going to see it. What's the idea of Aránu nifla'os? Rabbi explains like this. He says, well, understand this, based on what we explained before, that the miracles, that a person doesn't realize it's a miracle, comes from where? Levadoi, comes from the highest places. Just 1 second. If that's the case, where's the miracle coming? It's coming from Levadoi, from Hashem himself. How is it possible that nature should be able to conceal a miracle that's coming from Levadoi, from Hashem himself? So how can you conceal such a powerful source? Rabbi explains as follows. That the quality of a miracle that's enclosed within nature, compared to a miracle which is above nature. So now there is bringing from the Mittler Rebbe, the second Chabad Rebbe, and he brings in the Chassidic discourse in his book called Sha'ar HaMunah, the Gates of Faith, and he says like this: when a miracle gets enclosed within nature, then it gets revealed. When the miracle becomes in nature, then it gets revealed. What does that mean? A miracle that's not within nature, total miracle. So what do you know? You know, I'll use the terms he used and I'll explain it. You know the Metzias. You know, okay, fine, there was a miracle, but you can't really connect to the essence of a miracle. Like, for example, when the dead are going to be resurrected. Okay, you saw the person was dead, and now he awoke. But how did it happen? You have no idea. You can't see it. You saw the net effect. The person was dead, and now he's alive. How did it work? You don't know. And the same thing also, any miracle above nature. Anytime there's a miracle, yeah, wow, it's unreal. How did it happen? We don't know. And that's why it's called a pella. It's a wonder. What is a wonder? I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. And when you see it, you're mishtaimim. You're wow, how did that happen? You're speechless. Why are you speechless? Because the intellect can't comprehend it. But when a miracle comes within nature, so the way the miracle came about is revealed, because you can grasp how it happened. Like take, for example, the miracle of Purim. We know how the miracle got nullified. Obviously it was a miracle, but we know how it happened. There was Esther Hamalka. And the same thing, the 4 people have to thank Hashem. They know how the person got healed. There was a doctor, there was medicine, etc. So when it comes to so basically what the Mittler is saying is that when it comes to a miracle that was in nature, we can connect to the essence of the miracle. So therefore, based on this, you can say this idea that in a miracle within nature, the essence of the miracle is revealed. Where is that? That's mainly in a miracle that you don't even realize a miracle is taking place. If you're able to look into the miracle that's taking place, which you're not aware of, you can see it. Why is that? And he says this: because anytime there's a miracle that you realize in the garments of nature that this is a miracle, or even if you don't realize it's a miracle, but you realize it's something out of the ordinary, like we mentioned before, the 4 people that have to thank Hashem, which is a wonder, which we don't understand completely. What is the idea of, because we basically thank Hashem, and the way we thank Him is Haidoya, which is above Lazik. But in the miracle where a person doesn't realize it's a miracle, that's something which we comprehend. That's something which is tangible. So based on this, you can say that the miracle that comes from Levade, from Hashem himself, which is coming basically that a person doesn't recognize the miracle, because anything that comes from Levade is revealed all over. Because nothing could conceal over it. And that's why it comes into nature, in the way that we don't realize it's a miracle. And there's no wonder. And therefore, that's something which we could comprehend. So this is how, basically, what was the question? How could it be something coming from Levade that it can come in this world, and how can we grasp it? Yeah, exactly, because it's actually revealed. The miracle which in nature that comes from Levade is revealed. Not only the metzias of what's happening, but the essence of it. Now, the difference between these two types of miracles in their source, like the Winkler explains in his classical work of Shar HaMunah, the Gates of Faith, and he explains like this: when it comes to miracles which are enclosed within nature, the source is Oirein Soif, the infinite part of Hashem that comes down to the lowest level. The miracle within nature is Oirein Soif, the part that's able to come down to the lowest level. And I was referring to the expansion and the revelation of the infinite part of Hashem. That expands, that is revealed on the lowest levels, and therefore comes in a revealed way, and up to the point the person could comprehend it with his intellect. That is the miracles that come within nature. However, when it comes to the miracles above nature, their source is the fact that Oirein Soif is l'mayla l'mayin, the fact that the infinite part of Hashem goes to the highest levels. In other words, what does that mean? The infinite part conceals itself. The concealment of the infinite part. And it goes so high, and even higher, and therefore when it comes down to this world, guess what? It's concealed, because it's coming from a high place. And that's why it says, k'imei tzeitzcha Meretz Mitzrayim, like the days of going out of Egypt. Aránu neflois, I'm going to show you wonders. What does that mean? That in the future when Mashiach comes, even the miracles, that the source is l'mayla l'maydal ketz, which means it's concealed, they're going to be revealed. And the revelation is going to be in a way of Aránu, I'm going to see it. So, in other words, a revolutionary idea. What's going to happen when Mashiach comes? Even the miracles above nature, which basically doesn't get revealed, is going to be revealed. So two components when Mashiach comes. One is what's going to be revealed is the revelation of God in on the lowest, where God is, where it comes from Levade, and also the ones that are above nature. In other words, you can say that when we say Aránu neflois, when Hashem is going to show you the wonders in the future when Mashiach comes, there's two components. That even the miracles of the future, that's not going to be within nature, like splitting of the sea and the river, like it says in the prophets, and he's going to make it split in many, many levels. It's going to be in a revealed way. Just like the miracle of going out of Egypt. And Hashem split the sea. Now, even though it was above nature, but what happened? We saw in a revealed way, not only the splitting of the sea, but we also saw the revelation of the splitting of the sea. That is, like it says clearly, everyone was able to point with a finger and says, this is God, this is what's happening. But the revolutionary idea what's going to happen when Mashiach comes, compared to splitting the sea, what happened in the past, that the miracles of the future is going to be, even compared to the going out of Egypt, in other words, that the miracles of the future is going to come from a higher place. Higher than going out of Egypt, come from Levade, and therefore it's going to be much greater miracles, but nevertheless, it's going to be in a way that you can see. So two things are going to happen. Mashiach comes, the source of the miracles coming from a higher place, and we're going to be able to see it. Also, that the revelation when we went out of Egypt was only temporarily. However, the revelation when Mashiach comes, it's going to be much higher. Like we said, point. Point number one is going to be much higher. It's coming from a higher place, and it's going to be consistent, and it's going to be forever. Another component in the miracles that we're going to see in the future, because since in the future, what's going to be revealed? The miracles are going to be revealed to the Jewish people, the wonders, and it's going to be revealed in the world in the way that it's going to be totally revealed, and therefore it's going to get enclosed in nature. And even though it's enclosed in nature, it's going to be a tremendous wonder. Why? Because this is going to be enclosed in nature. It's not because it's something which is possible to it's on the level of revelation, like a miracle which is enclosed in nature. because that comes from the Ein Sof, which is Lamata, which has the ability to come down. But even the source of the revelation is coming from the higher place, L'mayla Ketz, which is basically concealment, and more than that, it's going to be in a place of concealment which is higher than possible to be revealed. And like it's explained in the classic Chassidic discourse of the previous Rebbe, that this Ein Sof is L'mayla means that even in its source it's not revealed, but nevertheless it's going to come into nature, because in the future even the greatest concealment is going to be revealed. As you can say that when the miracles that's going to come into nature in the future, there's two components to it. One is that that the miracles above nature is going to come into nature is because even the concealment, which is much higher than possible to be revealed, is going to come in a revealed way. That's point number one. It's going to come in a revealed way. And B, the nature of the world is not going to go ahead and resist it, because the world is going to be elevated, and the world is going to be a vessel to receive this power of revelation. So B, the stuff that can't be revealed from the highest level is going to be revealed, and the world is not going to be resistant. They're going to accept it. So based on the service, he'd like to explain the connection between the two ideas in Aránu and Neflois. I'm going to show you wonders in the future. In other words, first we had the teaching of what of the Mittler Rebbe, that he said that even the wonders of above nature we're going to see in a revealed way, not like now that we only know the existence, but we can't see the essence. So we're going to see the essence, not like in the before, and also the teaching of the Tzedek, that even in the miracles which are within nature, that come from the Vadai, we're going to see the miracle in it. Because the essence of these of the two different insights is that basically when Mashiach comes, the nature of the world is going to be a vessel for above nature, and therefore nature is not going to block the revelation of these used miracles. However, according to the Tzedek, when you say Aránu Neflois, what does that mean? I'm going to show you wonders, that the nature is not going to block it. Even if it's above nature, it's not going to block it. In other words, that the miracles that are coming from the component that Ein Sof is lamata to the lowest level, which means revelation, and the nature, the way it is naturally covers on these miracles, doesn't allow it to be revealed, because the source of miracles that come into nature is coming from the revealed part of Hashem, and that's referring to the part of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei which is above nature. And on the other hand, nature comes from which name of Hashem? Elokim, which is the numerical value of nature, which covers it. And when Mashiach comes, the revolutionary idea is going to be that Shem Elokim, which is all about concealment, is going to be a vessel for the revelation of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. It's hard for us to comprehend it, because it's opening up borders that never opened before. That's according to the teaching of the Tzedek. The revolutionary idea is that nature will be able to receive above nature. And according to the Mittler Rebbe, what does the Aránu Neflois mean? That the nature that comes from Shem Elokim will be a vessel even for above nature, and even for the level of the concealment which is above revelation, which is even higher than Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Now, based on what we explained before, that in the revelation, in the redemption of going out of Egypt, what happened? They opened up the channels. What channels? Even for the future redemption. So you can say that when in the redemption of going out of Egypt, what started then is also the ability of seeing the miracles which are going to be when Mashiach comes. Besides the fact that it opened up redemption, but also opened up what's going to be in the future. And what does that mean? They're explaining this. This time in the future, nature will be a vessel for above nature, which is almost an impossibility. Aránu Neflois, I'm going to show you wonders. Nature will be able to receive infinite. How did that happen? It happens through transformation. In other words, from the mere fact that the world was transformed and got elevated, and it became a vessel for above nature. And where did this whole process of transformation start when we went out of Egypt? Because we were slaves to Pari in Egypt. And we know Pari was a very, very tough king. And Egypt was a very, very hard country. We know no one can leave from there. But nevertheless, we withstood the test. So we were able to transform the sparks that were in Egypt, up to the point that we were able to take out the sparks from Egypt, we made it like a place that was like a pond, there was no fish, and a field, there was no corn, everything was taken out, and we basically created the total transformation. Like it says, kĩmei, plural, and even the days of what of Galus, we that started the process of transformation. Rabbi says you can say that the reason that we mention going out of Egypt every single day, because that gives us power that what we got from going out of Egypt of transformation that we need to do every single day. And through that every single day, we transform more sparks and more sparks. We're coming closer to the coming of Mashiach. Because the fact is, with every single spark that we're transforming, the world gets more refined. Up to the point when we finish transforming all the sparks, the world will be ready for godly revelation, a revelation above the worlds. And what practically means is that the nature of the world will be able to receive above nature Aránu neflאות. And therefore, we mention going out of Egypt even when Mashiach comes. Because when Mashiach comes, the world is going to be ready for the revelation of Hashem. And how did it start? It all started by going out of Egypt. And that's why it says, kīmei tzeitzcha me'eretz Mitzrayim b'Aránu neflאות. Just like the days of going out of Egypt, I'm going to show you wonders. Because that we're going to see wonders in the future. And it's going to be like, it's going to be because we went out of Egypt, because what gave us the power that we're going to see it is going out of Egypt. That started the process of transformation. And he continues on. Kīmei tzeitzcha. Kīmei is plural. Because when we went out of Egypt, it gave us the power of seeing the miracles in the future. But in order that it should come down in a real way, it happens through transformation between all the days between going out of Egypt and Mashiach coming, which basically is many, many days from we went out of Egypt until Mashiach comings. And Rebbe says you can say that from the difference between the verse of kīmei tzeitzcha me'eretz, like the days of going out of Egypt, I'm going to show you wonders in the future. And the verse, so that you should you have to remember going out of Egypt every single day. That from there we learn the mitzvah that you have to remember going out of Egypt even when Mashiach comes, because the verse kīmei tzeitzcha me'eretz is referring to in the future when Mashiach comes, and it says kīmei tzeitzcha me'eretz, that the power of the goal is Aránu neflאות, but the power of seeing the wonders in Mashiach comes, that comes from going out of Egypt. That is that verse. But the verse, in order to remember every single day, it says it in reference to observing the month and to do Passover. Because what is Pesach all about? Pesach is all about leaving Egypt. And it says you have to remember going out of Egypt, because the intent of going out of Egypt is that it should be remembered and should be drawn into every single day, even when Mashiach comes. The Beis Rebbe explains why the Chassidic discourse says Yemei Loshem Rabim, and he says with an introduction of going out of mentioning going out of Egypt even in the future. Why? Because this that we're mentioning going out of Egypt in the future when Mashiach comes, because that's going out of Egypt. The reason why we mention the future, because that is going out of Egypt. So based on this, we'll understand why from when we left Egypt until the ultimate redemption, which through that we actually bring in going out of Egypt from a potential to reality. It's all Yemei tzeitzcha me'eretz. It's all about going out of Egypt in a plural level. Now, based on what we learned before, that what's the whole idea of going out of Egypt is to bring us to the future. So what's self-understood that when we go ahead and we mention going out of Egypt every single day, and especially when we talk about going out of Egypt in the night of Pesach, when we have matzah and maror putting in front of us, and especially in times of Beis Hamikdash, when you have Pesach, matzah, maror in front of us, we actually cause to make it happen quicker. The fulfillment of the promise of kīmei tzeitzcha me'eretz, like going out of Egypt. I'm going to show you wonders, and it's going to happen. Begula hasida with the future redemption through Mashiach Tzidkenu. And Rebbe finishes off beautifully and powerfully. He says, Yadvoi v'yigalenu, he should come and redeem us. V'geula ha'mitis v'hashlema, with the redemption, the true redemption, the complete redemption, and it should happen b'mheira v'yameinu, very, very quickly in our days. Here we have another beautiful Chassidic discourse about the miracles going out of Egypt every single day. And let's hope and pray, like Rebbe finishes off, we're going to go, but Mashiach's going to come, and next class will be in Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. Have a great and blessed week. Shavua Tov.